week here.
I've just been like texting with you, and I can tell you've never been outside the Bay Area because you're just like miserable if anything is below 50 degrees. You're acting like you're going to the North Pole.
21 degrees. I am in the North Pole, Samuel. I'm frozen. When I travel to Asia, which is usually when I travel to Asia. I always go when it's warm, right? So the snow is pretty. Problem. Yeah, the snow is pretty. I don't ski or snowboard or anything like that, so I'm rarely in Tahoe, but it is beautiful. So I will say that. I've never been a snow guy, but damn, I can see why people like it. But wearing like 4 layers, I don't know. People like that. People enjoy that.
4 hoodies. Yeah, man. So isn't it weird? Like the Warriors haven't played a game in a week. We're recording this. They won't play again until Wednesday. Obviously, the tragic passing of Decky, Warriors assistant coach, Dejan Milojevic, is affecting the team. I mean, they didn't even practice today. Like they're doing open practices, but it's not open to the media in general at this stage. It's a lot to go through in the middle of the season to lose a coach like that and to watch it happen the way a lot of the players did. And I don't know. Part of me is like, this season was going a terrible direction in general. So while this has nothing to do with it, but 9 days off, 10 days off is the best thing ever to happen to everyone at this stage in some ways. But like the other part of me sitting here going like, can this season even be salvaged? Like, it's not like we were feeling positive about it before tragic events happened.
You've done a lot of thinking. I feel like you just went through the like when you start therapy, you got to really talk about your life, and then you go through all these things that you got to do. This is what you just did in the past couple of days at the Warriors. You just went from it is a very bad time for the team to can the season actually be salvaged, and how can they salvage it? I think this little weird quirk in the scheduling thing works out best for the Warriors because we haven't heard from anyone on the Warriors still. We still haven't heard from anyone. So just guessing is they've obviously taken this really hard, and it's best that they don't play basketball for a little while before then. So again, Sunday, they got Monday, they got Tuesday, and then I can't imagine they postpone another game on Wednesday, Sam. I imagine they're going to play that game on Wednesday. So like you said, I guess you could look at it optimistically is that, maybe they'll kind of band together more than they have this season because it feels like this season they haven't played together so much. So maybe this kind
for
of
all the connectivity talk, I don't know that I'm seeing it on the court, right?
Right, exactly. So, I hope that they're going to be strong enough to play on Wednesday and play well. But I have no idea what to imagine from these guys. Like I have no idea what they're going to look like when they come back on the court. Right? You just Could they just be completely locked in? Maybe. Can they fall apart? Can't blame them if they just fall apart. That's the thing. Hard.
It does. Like, it's very cliche to be like, and then tragedy hit and everyone came together. Like a Disney, like Roger, remember the Titans or something. But that's not. But that's not how life works. Like I don't know. It's possible that this is the type of thing that just makes guys be like, guys, this isn't going the way we want it. But like let's honor him by playing hard together and being good teammates and that sort of thing. Or the opposite, where guys are just more lost than they were before this happened. Like they look like. Do you agree with me? They look like a lost team.
I do. Yep.
Before that, like lacking talent, lacking direction. It just kind of felt like they're drifting. We were talking nonstop about trades because it was clear they needed something to jolt them in some way or another, right? Like, I don't know where they come out from it. I think it's going to be super emotional in general. But I don't want to say like it's make light of any situation, but like they needed 9-10 days off just to like recenter themselves, get collected, and we'll see where they come out on the other side. And that kind of, it kind of brings me to my big question is like, how can they even save? What does saving the season look like? How can you salvage the season?
Well, taking away the fact that I'm going to say they need to trade guys, I think I don't know how they do it, right? So I have no great answer, realistic answers, because you can say Andrew Wiggins play better, but that doesn't seem realistic. Klay Thompson become who he was, like that. Those things aren't realistic.
It'd be cool if you could just hit all your shots, right?
Yeah, those things are not realistic. The only thing that you really can really throw out there that they can realistically do is probably just find out if you're going to take away trades. So to me, it's just find out if Kuminga and Moody can just be very good basketball players. Are they or are they not, dude? Are they or are they not? That's the only thing for me. Because if you're going to walk into February and not make a trade, then we got to find out if Kuminga may make an all-star team one day. We got to find out if Moody. Oh, actually, Moody should be back on Wednesday because he was out for a little while with his calf, so hopefully he'll be back.
Sure.
But it's like, just go figure out if Moody can play 25 minutes a game.
See what they are. See where they figure out into your big picture. Like, are they main dudes, or are they like kind of dudes who you could take? You know.
Yep. And if you're not gonna trade them, then just let's just see how good they are.
Hold. Don't move the mic away. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, for me, I have a different take. My take's Draymond.
Oh boy.
Did you know that the Warriors were 25th in defense this year?
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
I know you've watched every game, so I know your answer wasn't going to be that they were good at defense.
Wow. But that bad, though? I actually did. I know they're bad, but 25th is basically the worst defense in the league.
And obviously, it's gotten they're 29th in the stretch since Draymond, has been suspended. So they've fallen lower. They weren't playing good defense before he went down, but now they're just playing no defense, right? It matches the eye test too. Like, none of this is particularly surprising to you or me. I think if this team has anything worth a damn, like, we know what Steph does. I need to know that Draymond can still elevate a defense. And then if he can elevate a defense, it kind of makes what you need to do team building wise theoretically more straightforward. So, look, he's had a bad year. I understand a lot of people are done with him. I am not going to defend him. I don't think anyone being like, I'm done with the guy, it's over, is irrational. But you know what he is? Like, he's the second best player this team's had for 15 years. He's by far the second best player throughout the dynasty in terms of overall impact and importance. Steph is a god, all-timer, but Draymond's like one of the 5 best defensive players to ever play basketball. And when he's locked in, he makes them a top 5 defense. I need to know that he can still do that, because if he can't still do that, I have different thoughts for how I want this team to reconstruct itself going over the next 6 months. Like, I think we all agree they need to make moves in some capacity. Could be moving Wiggins for something else. Could be trading the whole roster for something else, right? Like, they need to do something. But I need to know that Draymond can still be that dude defensively. And, like, if they're going to get the season back on track, he's the biggest reason, because Steph's been consistent. You can't ask for more from Steph than what you got from him. Draymond's been the one who's kind of let his end of the bargain down. And so let me see it, buddy, because if you play that way, Mike will make a certain set of moves. If you play a different set of way, Mike might make a different set of moves.
Well, I mean, I like where you went with it. I mean, it's a more concrete version of what they can do that's possible, because they're like offensive and defensive coordinators. I know we're in football playoff season here, but Steph basically just handles the offense. I mean, you get some decent players around him. That's a top 5 offense. And then Draymond, if you get some guys that are just, they can rebound the ball, they got a little bit of size, they can guard some point of attack, like that's a top 5 defense, or at least a top 10 defense, right? And they don't right now.
Steph's still Steph, but Draymond, I don't blame people for having lost faith over the last like year and a half with him, right?
How good is he defensively at this point anyway? Because like Steph has slipped a little bit this season, and part of that is he's played all the games. Part of that is he's getting older.
Looks worn down.
And then with Draymond is like, Is he still great defensively? I think we're gonna find out here. Knock on wood that he plays all the games for the rest of the season. But I think actually more so to me is how elite can he be defensively, or is he just an above average defender guy now? Because if that's the case, then his value does shrink a lot more. Or is he someone that can still carry a defense? He can still make Wiggins elite defensively. He can still make, he can help make Kuminga elite defensively. I mean, they're so bad at point of attack. They have nobody can guard the ball. Like Draymond can't really help. That's not his fault that GP2's out,
but like 2022, Draymond basically directed Wiggins defensively at all times. Draymond was the back line telling everyone what to do, and Wiggins, to his credit, executed the fuck out of it, right? Like that's what happened in general. Can Draymond still be that defensive leader who can take toolsy guys and make them great defenders in front of him? Or does no one take him serious anymore? And does his voice not carry anymore?
That's a big one.
And I don't care how smart he is. If guys don't buy into what you're saying, it doesn't matter.
Yep. That's the one. That's the one.
That's kind of what I want to see. I'm curious about that, right? Because I wouldn't be surprised if he locked in defensively and Wiggins started looking better over the next couple of weeks. I also wouldn't be surprised if he locked in defensively and did his Draymond, I'm going to make a bunch of noise, and no one cared because he's just kind of been a bad teammate for too long.
I think that's the one where he had his presser last game and just basically ripped the team for playing bad defense, and I don't know if anybody cared. I genuinely don't know. Did Andrew Wiggins watch that presser and go, yeah, what if, dude, fuck that guy? You know what I mean? Like him.
Maybe don't like punch our teammates and get suspended for half the year, right? Like these are
right.
I don't know. I'm hoping, but like I don't know how optimistic I am.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, the Warriors are back Wednesday, and that will be our Under Armour matchup of the week against the Atlanta Hawks. And I think actually, it's kind of fun in multiple ways because the emotions are going to run high. I don't really know what to expect from this team. I know how emotionally charged they are. I'm not trying to downplay anything. They've gone through a tragedy. It's going to be the first time they play in 10 days. It's a lot to carry. At the same time, the season has to move forward in some capacity or another. And they're playing the team who is now apparently our number one trade fetish team.
Yes, that's the real matchup.
I don't even know how we got here. I don't know how we got from Siakam watch for what felt like 18 months to like now everything's like about the Hawks, but it does seem like the Hawks are moving towards some form of a reset, wanting to move some players, and the Warriors have been linked to their players. And I don't know. If nothing else, it's more interesting than watching the Warriors play the Clippers an 18th time. I want to see Dejounte Murray a little more. I want to watch Clint Capella a little more. I want to see what Saddiq Bey is up to.
Saddiq Bey, do you? The first two makes a lot of sense to me. Clint Capella.
Well, I was running down Hawks names, so
not Trae Young though. You're not excited for Trae Young. More excited for.
I'm not a Trae guy. Also, honestly, my Dejounte Murray optimism is mostly because I think Trae Young's kind of makes his teammates look worse because it's always the Trae Young show at all times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, what happens when Dejounte plays with a good teammate like Steph? But maybe Draymond punches him in the face. It doesn't matter. So
I'm supremely excited for this game, and it's funny that the NBA is giving this to us. As we hit trade season, and Dejounte Murray is the guy that looks like he's going to be he's going to be the number one guy that gets traded now that Siakam's off. So I want to see how good he is. Like it sounds like
LA and clutch.
It sounds like it. It sounds like he also doesn't play defense anymore. So I want to see if he is he just not trying or is he just bad. Clint Capella, you mentioned, like that's the one where it's like he doesn't play as much anymore. Like is he still good? He's kind of older for sure, but the Warriors can get him. Like theoretically, that's a good fit. So I want to see how he looks.
Damn it. They haven't had a center in so long.
You talking about the Warriors?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not even that I think Capella is a game changer on that end. It's just like it's been a minute since they've had an option.
Might be a game changer for the Warriors.
To just rim runner, rebounder in general, like just do center things,
Yep. So there's a UA matchup of the week. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch a team that hopefully the Warriors going to make trades with in the next 3 weeks.
What do you think of Dejounte Murray?
I used to love Dejounte Murray. Because
Spurs.
Spurs, yes, of course. I think a lot of people loved him. I loved him. I think when he went to Atlanta, one of the biggest reasons was he wanted to shoot more, right? He thought of himself as more of a scorer than I think probably than what he is. And he stopped playing defense and he just started shooting a lot of mid-range jump shots and stuff like that. So less fun of a player, just not really a role player. It's always interesting. It's like the same argument with Kuminga where it's like, can you just try to be a role player? But you don't want to do that if you think you can be better than that. You've got to fail at doing the thing that you think you could do first before you go back to being a role player, right? So I'd be curious to see if Dejounte Murray now just believes that he's back to a role player, or does he think like I could just average 25 points somewhere? But then it's funny because
he's shooting the ball really well, back-to-back game winners. I don't know if you saw the game winner was against the Magic last one, or sorry, against the Heat.
His latest
against
one.
The Heat. Yeah. He beat the culture. It looks like a Tyrese Halliburton jumper, if I'm being honest with you, like kind of like shooting it from the waist a little bit. And maybe it's because they're both lanky. I think the shot looks the same, but I mean, he is shooting over 38% on 6 threes this year. I don't know.
My excitement for Murray isn't the offense, though. My excitement for Murray is how can he be an elite defensive guy that he was when he was on the Spurs? Because the Warriors need offense. The Warriors need everything. But to me, what they really, really, really need, back to your point on defense, is defense. And
my excitement's two-way game with him. He's not the same type of player as Wiggins. Like, he's an on-ball player, but like if he's at his best, he's doing everything you're saying, and he's giving you more than 5 points a game. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a capable playmaker. He can get downhill. I don't know how much I believe in his shooting. I need to see guys. I always get like a little weird when guys have been like, 33% 3-point shooters their whole career, then randomly start hitting 40%.
Yeah. I mean, that happened to Wiggins, literally.
And Draymond.
Right.
But he can get to the rim. He can make plays for his teammates. He could do a lot of things that no one else on this team can do, that I'm like curious on the Warriors. I kind of agree with you. I think he thinks he's Westbrook. And I think he's more of a 15 to 18 point per game guy, if that makes sense, where like he's going to have his nights where the matchup allows him to get to 25, 30, but there more nights he's in a Livingston, Iguodala. I'm going to play my game and take the shots that come to me in the flow. Like that's the optimized.
That's exactly what it is, right? Like that is the best version of him versus like, and again, like being in the NBA is really hard, but if you're in the NBA, most guys in the NBA can score 20 points if you get them enough touches. Like it's not hard to score in the NBA in today's NBA. So if you're in the NBA and like you're Kuminga could average 20 points. He'd just shoot it at terrible efficiency because he'd be shooting it a ton. But with Murray, it's probably better for him to be a winning player. To be a winning player, it's not for him to score 25 points, right? It's not Steph. Steph, to be a winning player, is for him to score 28 points. For Murray, it's like you're saying, it's 16 points a game, play really good defense, distribute the ball a little bit. The Warriors need everything. So that's why, to me, I'm fascinated by guys that they might like. And this is a guy that I think they really do like him, though, Sam. I think this is someone they really
the talents like. And to be clear, I wouldn't say his production matches his talent right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those things where I think they can make him a better player.
Yes.
But not to cut you off, I feel like what's intriguing about him is he has a higher ceiling than a lot of the players they keep bringing in. And that's kind of that's the other part of it, which is kind of unsaid with this team. Enough of low, like the Anthony Lambs, but he tries hard and we know he fits what we do. Like, bro, he's in New Zealand. He's just not talented enough. Like,
Corey Joseph is a nice one where it's like, did you need to get Corey Joseph? He's a nice guy. He's been a good player in his career, but like he doesn't give you anything. Even if he's been terrible, he's been an F. But like even if he was a C, like is he really giving you that much because of the way that he plays? Like just because Steve likes the way he plays, kind of useless. Right?
Yeah. Whereas like someone like Dejounte Murray, like it's been kind of a negative experience in Atlanta, like relative to what he's capable of. But like, he made an all-star team in San Antonio. He can play at that level. How many guys in the Warriors can I say can play at that level? And they just need to make gambles on talent, man.
Yeah.
They need to make gambles on talent that have an opportunity to fit. Because I think in a perfect situation, Dejounte Murray is a Warriors style player. That does not mean it will happen, but like there's other talented players. You're like, I just don't know how that fits with the Warriors.
Well, the irony is that they did it with Wiggins and it worked. that's right. The irony, and now they're gonna try to trade Wiggins to get the guy. And the funny thing, Murray's 27. Like he's 20, not even. He's perfectly in his prime, which is to say, Wiggins also in his prime too, theoretically. But they made that
18 months. 18 or he's almost 2 years younger than Wiggins. So
2 years. Yeah. Okay. But they made that gamble with Wiggins. It worked out. They made that gamble with D'Lo. It didn't work out. Now part of that was just they wanted to save the space. But I think you do that gamble again, and I throw in Levine to that point. But anyway, I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's what it's the Under Armour game of the week.
Before we get to our next segment, we've got Sleeper Fantasy, Layers Podcast, brought to you by Sleeper Fantasy. The NBA season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100x your cash on daily fantasy basketball. Basketball has never been more exciting than it is. With now with players like Steph, LeBron, Luka, KD, pick more or less on stats for these stars like points, rebounds, threes, steals, double-doubles, and more for up to 100x payout on Sleeper. Get your rebounds or get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And we are brought to you by Game Time. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. You can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. With zone deals, you can actually pick the section, and Game Time picks the seats for big-time savings. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LIGHTYEARS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LIGHTYEARS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
We got a special guest, Andy.
Let's go.
Our guy from the Sprint Right podcast from Niners Nation, Jason Aponte, coming up here. He's coming to help us discuss the Niners 24-21 win over the Green. We know where the landscape hits. We're going to do a little NFL between now and the Super Bowl.
Of course.
Andy, how nervous were you on Saturday night?
I was nervous. I was nervous. Now, I was confident going into the game. You know this. I was very confident going into the game. But I was nervous, man. I started seeing some Jimmy G stuff from Brock Purdy, and that's when I really got nervous, because that's when I was like, okay, the ball's sailing. He doesn't look rattled, but he's just not good. And it had me going a little bit. What's up, Jason? Help us out here, man. I was not the most confident guy, sir. I was not the most confident guy, and then he made one of those drives that are like, okay, I'm back. All right, bring on the lines, baby. -7. Let's run it.
This is Andy right here. Is Brock
Let's
Purdy
see.
fraud? Yeah, I'll find a better image of that. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did here. What's up, man? That was a fun game on Saturday night. No.
Well, first of all, thank you guys. I thought I was gonna get some Warriors takes off just a little bit. Maybe I'll save that for the end of this.
Yeah, let's get some takes.
Maybe should I start with the Warriors takes? Just a little.
No, let's do a little Niners over to the Warriors.
All right. This is not a subtle. I guess it's a subtle flex. We have a little group chat, and we talked about our predictions in this game. And Andy and I seem to be in the same boat of, hey, this team is too good, like, to allow this to happen. Sam took his time, and he was a little bit more calculated. I'm not gonna lie, but I will say this: there are a lot of people that wanted to see Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, this San Francisco 49ers team win this type of game. So don't ask me, have you seen Purdy have the game-winning drive, have him do it in the biggest moment, and now say Brock Purdy's a fraud? Because I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me that you want to hear Kyle Shanahan and about literally like, hey, he needs to win by 5, 6, 7, whatever point differential. Because it's so funny. He's 0-30 with a 8-point lead, but he literally in week 17 against the Los Angeles Rams to make the playoffs with Jimmy G, like, won by 7. Like, it's so funny how people like want to pick and choose and cherry pick. There's no way that you can tell me that the San Francisco 49ers team is going to fall all over themselves over again during the rain against whatever team they're facing. Like, they gave us so many plays just based on them slipping on the field. And then tell me in the same breath, I need Kyle Shanahan to win a game. I need Brock Purdy to do this. Does Brock Purdy have to win against the 85 Bears on Mars without a suit? What do you need else to see? Because Dak Prescott hasn't been to the same game that Brock Purdy's going to. But okay, I guess that's, Kyle Shanahan and Christian McCaffrey and all those guys. Jalen Hurts might as well be working at Walmart at this point. Imagine scoring 9 points against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Why are you not talking about these other quarterbacks instead of the guy who actually got it done?
Because they weren't drafted last in the draft. That's
Thank you.
And you know the answer to this. People can't buy that he's good.
Yeah.
I'm with you. He didn't play a good game. And the fact that he was able to put it behind him and quarterback a winning drive when you play like
really cool
ass. That tells you that tells me what I need to know about him. That tells me he is tough. He can figure it out on the fly. That's what I needed to see. Honestly, if I walking away from that game, my questions about the Niners have everything to do with like, is the defense not that good? Is it not as good as I thought? Like, that actually scares me. That scares me. I'm not.
They're not as good as they were for sure. That defense.
I'm not like. I've seen what I needed to see out of the offense in general. Shocker.
Well,
they took 3 weeks off and they looked terrible. Here's the thing. I'm not expecting Brock to be Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say he answered all questions. They get to the Super Bowl, they gotta go pound for pound with Lamar Jackson. Like, I got some questions.
Andy, we got to get there.
Oh yeah, right.
You still have to get there. Yeah, you still got to get there. That's correct. It. And that's the thing that I kind of feel like a little bit. It's just like, all right, look, it's you, not you, Andy, not you, Sam. A lot of people. No, Andy, trust me. I said in our group chat, 38-21. The Packers scored 21. The Niners just didn't hold up their end of the bargain in this game, right? But Brock missed throws, kept going. Kyle kept – like, if that was a Jimmy Garoppolo game, and we're in the divisional playoffs, and those throws were missed, and that offense is – that game is absolutely fried, right? It's just the people that continue to dismiss this win that wanted to see it when they faced the Cleveland Browns, the Minnesota Vikings, this team, that team. He did it in a game that's a playoff game. So what I do know is Brock Purdy is not going to do that again. Not again. Like, it won't happen again. But I think two things are true. One, we look at this team as the best team in football. And, for many weeks we should have. I think anybody with a brain was probably going to say right now the Baltimore Ravens are. Right? And I think that's who can argue with them, right? But don't ask someone to do something for you and then they do it and then move the goalpost. And can we start to give the Green Bay Packers a little bit of credit? They're actually good. They're actually well, Sam doesn't want to. But look, all right. Dak Prescott, MVP candidate. I love Dak. Oh, look at Dallas. Are you kidding me?
First off,
no way that you can compare the
those
two
words never came out of my mouth.
No. Not your mouth, not anyone who actually knew ball, anything like that.
That was insane.
But you've got this Dak Prescott MVP narrative. He went into Baltimore, and then Buffalo, vomited on himself. He has this game at home with him, vomited on himself.
Man.
And then Brock Purdy knocks off the team that he couldn't in the way that they did. And now, I still, you know what? I need to see Brock Purdy win a game by 38 points against the 85 Bears on Mars with no suit. And it's just, it's insane to me to think that people can believe one thing when they say one thing out of their mouth and then not complete it with the other.
Well, it's funny too, because if they win by 30, then it's that you can't win the close games. I find it interesting. I mean, I don't want to.
It's the system, bro. That's why they're up 30. You just give it to Debo, who, by the way, that's probably the biggest reason they fell.
So that I was gonna say, like, we don't want to do the whole thing on Brock, but that's what I find interesting is that same thing happened in Cleveland when he got hurt and the offense fell apart. And again, by the way, Brock made a game-winning drive in Cleveland. It just got choked away by Jake Moody. They should have won that game. Actually, don't forget that.
Hold up, Andy.
By the way, shout out Jake Moody.
Shout out Jake Moody.
Well, he missed one too. I don't know how much.
that was on the snap.
Look. I love Sam so much, and I love Andy. By the way, I love light years, and I love this look. But good God, man, was I getting trolled for being so angry about that pick? I will never. There's never a day, a year, or that I will ever feel good about a third round kicker ever. But
he did nail that.
He did make the kick. He did make that kick. And the other kicker, Matt LaFleur, had a very interesting quote after that game, and everyone thought it was like one of those Bleacher Report quotes that people like turn to something else. And he said, "I pray every single time my kicker gets out there."
He said that. He said that.
He said it. Yeah. He said it. Literally, that is not me making it up. That's not one of those Bleacher Report quotes. Wow. Yeah, Matt LaFleur said, "I pray every single time he gets out there. I leave it up to my special teams coach." I don't think Kyle Shanahan would ever say that, even as arrogant as he was at the end of that press conference.
He missed a 41-yarder, dude. He missed 41-yarder.
They hadn't even. By the way, they had an even younger looking kicker. My big take here is I want my kicker to look like a fucking alcoholic. I need him to look like a 40-year-old who just came out of the bar.
Janikowski?
Exactly.
Sebastian
Janikowski, that's your guy.
I mean, Robbie Gould didn't look too much better, to be honest.
Well, Jake Moody looks like he drinks a lot. Like, he's got the chubby face and everything. Like, he looks like he's a drinker.
Jake Moody looks like a frat boy. He looks way too young. Way too young. I need like a 40-year-old who looks grizzled and beaten down by life. You cannot rattle him because he hates his life. He's like, you think I'm bothered if I miss this kick? I gotta go home.
That is Robbie Gould.
I got divorce payments.
All right.
Everything sucks right now. All right. That's what I need.
Look,
Phil Dawson vibes. Correct. You got me.
My take on the kicker thing is just from a positional value and draft pick, right? I feel bad for Jake Moody. I really do. Because for the 49ers to net what they actually invested in him in the third round is Justin Tucker. Because Justin Tucker is an opera singer that they found wherever they found him. And he's laughing, but look, come on. Like, look. I feel bad. Positional value, that was an arrogant pick. But the team is still, look, let's not lose focus. The team is on the doorstep of going to Las Vegas.
Right.
Is on the doorstep of going to Las Vegas. It feels like every single team that the 49ers or any NFL champion has had, they've got one of those games that is just like, you had no business winning that game, right? I mean, Philadelphia, they get to the Super Bowl, they win because, hey, look, whatever, Brock Purdy gets injured and they play the New York Giants. Great. I love that for them. But every single, championship, you can highlight a game that they had no business winning. Let me open up a wound and kind of give you a little bit of a context.
Oh, boy.
I know, I'm sorry. The New York Giants went on and beat Tom Brady, the GOAT. But why did they beat them?
Yeah. Dude,
why did they beat them?
You're not doing this right now.
I am. I want to do this because I want to make you feel better. The New York Giants in no form or fashion were better than San Francisco 49ers, but they got 10 points off of two fumbles.
Right.
And do you think the New York
Shout out
Giants
Cal
went
Williams.
in before they were going to the Super Bowl like, oh my God, we blew it? Like, come on, this is the playoffs.
Right.
Regardless of who you are and what, whatever feel you have win, move on and win.
Yeah.
And I feel like, again, Sunday now, the San Francisco 49ers are going to face the Detroit Lions, 6:30, 3:30 West Coast time. It ain't going to be raining. They're going to be falling all over the field.
I thought it was 70 degrees.
Yeah, 70 degrees. The 49ers won a playoff game in which they played probably the worst game that they could have possibly played.
I think so, yeah.
Like, how does that not make you feel a little bit better about them getting so the rust is off, right? Rust is off. Rust is gone.
I think
more rust.
I already put money on the line. I saw 6. I saw 6.5, and I'm like, this is getting bet up to 8, 9.
Yep.
There's 0.
Wow.
Actually, I'm going to ask you, Aponte.
Yep.
Why should I not be cocky as hell about the Niners versus the Detroit Lions here? Because as much as I've concern trolled this thing, here's my opinion. They didn't play a game in 3 weeks. They looked rusty. Green Bay came out with a great game plan. They got a little luck with Debo getting hurt, and then the weather played into it. They had every factor play in their favor, and they still lost the game. That should not have been anywhere near as close as it was. Now it was, you can get as scared as you want, but I'm watching that. I'm going, I think the real Niners show up next week, and I think they beat Detroit by 2 scores easy, honestly, because I don't think Detroit's really all that good.
Yeah.
Sam, I will tell you this. I have a lot of respect for the Detroit Lions. I think their offense is incredible.
Hey,
but
you just like Dan
No,
Campbell.
but there's no reason for you to not be confident. None. Because of all of the things you just said. All of the things you just said. You are literally looking at a team that probably played their worst game on defense, on offense, both of those, and they found a way to win the game, right? That it's almost like the wounded animal. You got your shot. You had your shot to knock them out. You had your shot. You lost it. And now they're battle tested and they're ready to go now for this next game. There is nothing right now that a 49er fan should fear if Debo Samuel plays. If Debo Samuel plays, yeah, I think so. I think so.
A lot of painkillers, but he's out there. He didn't break anything.
Gonna be out there. Yeah, he's gonna be out there. He'll get another week off, another bye week. He'll get another bye week. But when you look around at this team and you look at that game, I watched that game 3 times. I didn't sleep last night. I watched it twice. I didn't have a good response on how or however the 49ers won. But I know for a fact after this third watch that the 49ers are going to fall all over the field, giving up big plays like to anybody, right? The Detroit Lions have a great defense. I mean, offense. I understand that, but I come on, man. It's in front of them.
Well, I think actually Sam and I disagree a lot on football, actually, unlike basketball. But I agree with him on this one though, on the Detroit part, where it's hard to imagine them coming in a dome team with a quarterback that's historically not great on the road and outdoors. Not to say that Brock Purdy's a great outdoors guy, but they also have had his
outdoors in Santa Clara is all that scary.
Like not that scary, right? Not that scary, but the
elements of Levi's, Andy.
Yeah, I feel like although the elements of Levi's kind of messed with the Niners more than they did the Packers yesterday.
But the rain only comes against the 49ers in big games. Trey Lance's first start, the Indianapolis game. It's just like, can we keep the rain away from Levi's just for a little bit?
I think the Niners like playing jerk off is what I'm trying to say. I think they don't mind, and I know this is going to be a fun week because he's a Bay Area guy, but I think they're going to have to play, knock on wood, either Mahomes or Lamar. Obviously, I think that's a way bigger difference than like the NFC.
Let's get there, Andy.
NFC is funny though, right? Because the quarterbacks you see in the NFC are they could have played Baker if they had came back and won that game. They would play Baker Mayfield. Like, what would the spread have been? -12.5. It just the NFC feels to me like the Eastern Conference. Yes, you got to get there, but that's why I agree with Sam. It's just they're much better than them. But the run game, I mean, the Niners run defense kind of struggled. The Detroit likes to run the ball a lot, so there's that. I don't know.
Andy, with the run defense, I feel like we're discrediting the fact that Aaron Jones has been on an absolute heater. And he's one of the better running backs in football that nobody ever talks about. He was on an absolute heater. Like, I think we're conflating the run defense misses to the fact that Aaron Jones is really good at football. Like, I like, again, I don't want to get away from this game without saying that I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be here for a little bit. And I don't understand how it's been, you know what? We should just adopt what the Green Bay Packers do. Draft someone and just have 5-year quarterbacks later.
But can we be honest? Like, what a good defense looks like. We've seen the Niners have elite defenses.
This might not
nothing I've seen, nothing I saw on Saturday, and nothing I've really seen this season makes me feel like this is 2019 defense, 2012
but
defense.
This is where your offense has got to score 30. I mean, that's the
I know, but but you mentioned the Chiefs and the Ravens, and okay. One of those teams will be in the Super Bowl because that's how it works when two teams play each other. Both those teams,
hot take, that's a hot take.
Both those teams fly around way more than the Niners are, and maybe I'm overreacting. I guess my question for you guys is was it just the rain and a mix of rust that had that defense looking like mid? The best way to put it, or can they actually dial it up? Because they didn't have a great season. Like, I don't care what the numbers say. They went through the motions most of the season on that end because the offense could put 40 on anyone at any time. Yes. And they didn't have to play those we need to be perfect halves. So I just don't know if I believe this defense can dial it up the way they used to. End it.
Andy, you got it.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. I just think though this is where Kyle has to make the big bucks. I mean, he does make the big bucks. Literally gets paid the most on the team. This is where he has to be aggressive at the end of the first half and not play for a 50-yard field goal. Like shit like that is like, Kyle, brother, what do we do? We've seen Kyle be too aggressive. We've seen Kyle be too soft. Like, he's the play caller. He's the best. He's the best or the second best play caller in the entire fucking world. It's just, this is where he has to have a team.
Better than him?
Probably, right? I don't know. I don't pretend to be an expert.
I think that's fair.
But Andy also has Mahomes, right? So it's like he can call shit that Mahomes will do whatever. Kyle might call stuff for Brock, and the ball just slips out of his hands. But this is where you just gotta have an offense that can score. You have the best players on offense. You have a quarterback that you trust. He trusts Brock so much. He's throwing the ball so much. Last night when he's just chucking it out there, and I'm just like, I kind of like it because to me it's like, Kyle, trust this guy. At the same time, you're like, well, CMC's only touched the ball 15 times so far. He should probably touch it 10 more times. But I'm just saying, I agree with you. I think the defense isn't great, but this is where you've got an offense that's supposed to score 30, easy. So go score 30 because I don't know what that was last night. They weren't close to 30.
Well, if you give up 21 points in a game, your team should score 22. At least easy, right? I think the NFC Championship is like this interesting dichotomy between two sort of obviously coaching styles and coaching brains, right? Dan Campbell is nuts on the table, everything. I don't give a fuck on 3rd and 28. We're fucking going for it, right? And Kyle is, I don't know, man. Let's just slow it down, right? Let's slow it down. And this is the dichotomy between X's and O's guys, leaders of men, guys who understand what's going on in the moment. And I think that's what makes this game so interesting because the Dan Campbell in that Lions-Rams game could have done exactly what Kyle did, right? Let's run the ball, field goal. Let's take our chance with the defense. And he said, nah, I'm playing to win. It's something about Kyle Shanahan that, and both of you guys know, I love him so much. He plays not to lose.
Well, it's PTSD.
Yes,
but that's what it is. I mean,
it's just look. All right, I don't put as much in the Super Bowl with Atlanta against him because I've never seen an offensive coordinator get more flack than the head coach of the actual team in any sort of loss ever. And I don't care. You can get in the comments and yell. You're never gonna find an instance like that. That's the Atlanta.
That's how you know.
Super Bowl's
That's how you know he's the star of the team. By the way, that's how you know. Deep down, no one thought Matt Ryan was that good. No one respected Dan Quinn. It was all Kyle, and when it failed, they're like, "That motherfucker! I knew he was a fraud."
Yeah, and Dan Quinn loses his job, gets to skate, and nobody ever cares, right? But
no one ever brings up that he blew.
No one ever brings up that Dan Quinn was a defensive guy and couldn't get a defensive stop against the New England Patriots, right? Like, it's funny to me. But I do look at the end of that second half, or heading into the second half, and I'm just like, Kyle, you're smarter than me. You're gonna tell me I'm a moron if I asked you a question in the press conferences. You told Matt Mayoko and all those guys like everything, like we won, Kyle's voice, like when he gets on.
Yeah.
But my God, man, I really don't understand your thought process. I really, it's smug. And imagine if Kyle, like Sam and Indy, imagine if Kyle gets his ring. What is he gonna turn into after that?
Well,
he's literally gonna yell at everybody.
Deserves it.
They don't know what.
He can say whatever he wants. He gets the ring.
But he talks like he got the ring.
Yeah.
So like he's like, like, did you want Jake Moody to take that 50-yard field goal at the end of the half? We won. We scored more points. Dude, answer the question. Answer the question. You made the wrong decision right there. So Kyle's a great coach, but he's not perfect. He's not perfect.
Yeah.
But, if he gets his ring, I pray for everybody.
Well,
if he gets his ring, I pray for everyone.
I would be the happiest person. I think one thing that was interesting too is why is it when Debo goes out that the offense is so? I mean, he's great, but you've got Ayuk, you've got Kittle, you've got CMC.
Thank you.
But you can't. But it should not be like. It should not be that your offense cannot function without one guy. It should not be like. Look at. It's not that Debo is the only guy that you have. In 2020, he was the only guy that you had, right? In 2024, you have all pros everywhere. So maybe don't hand the ball off to Juwan Jennings, right? Maybe just throw the ball.
Don't hand the ball to Juwan Jennings.
I don't know what that play call. I don't know what that was.
That's my favorite play. That's my favorite play call. My two favorite play calls from Shanahan ever are that and McKinnon from the Wildcat in 2020 in Seattle.
He worked on that. He worked on that on the script.
Which is not to say that he doesn't have bad offensive plays. It's just it shouldn't be so difficult to just get your all-world players the ball. You can't tell me his gravity's that great.
I have two takes. I think you all disrespect how good Debo is.
No, we're not disrespecting Debo.
It's not.
I think he's maybe one of the 5 best position players in the league, and I don't think he'll ever get the credit for that because he doesn't put up the numbers because he plays a very weird game. Like he's not a running back and not a wide receiver. He's just a different player. But with that said, Kyle, this is where he's a lot like Kerr to me. He's a fucking robot in some ways.
That's the one.
I wrote, he had a game plan before the game.
Yeah.
The guy who the game plan was built on got his shoulder split in half a little bit or whatever happened. Seems shoulder, some, I thought it was dislocation. I don't know.
No, I think your point is right.
I'm not a doctor.
Finish your point. I think you got it right.
No, you're on the right spot though.
And just no adjustments off of that. Like, why, to you guys' point, why did McCaffrey not just see the ball over and over again? Or George Kittle, who, by the way, looks the best he's looked in about 4 years this year. Maybe it's because they have a quarterback who can throw the ball for once, but, he looks spry. He looks spry. My man looks like he's ready to catch the ball and truck people again. So, in general, I do feel like that's Kyle going just like, oh, I had all this game plan, and it's like 4 drives later he realizes he has to change things.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, look, I don't want to make it as simplistic as this, but if we were playing Madden and Debo Samuel gets injured, I know, okay, Christian McCaffrey's still on my team. I have George Kittle. I have Brandon Ayuk. There's ways to get them open, scheme them open, everything. George Kittle's the best tight end in football. Travis Kelce, sorry, take a seat, pal. Not you. And there's 2 other people I could probably put.
I'm at this out before the Swifties hear it.
Yeah. No. I'm not disrespecting Swifties at all, man. I do not. I don't want that smoke.
2 TDs tonight, by the way.
One of those touchdowns was basically a handoff, but hey, We can't yell about that like when Debo Samuel gets it. But
like that
look
one.
again, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey had 3 weeks off, and there's points in that game where it's just like run the football with your guy. Run him against a defense that gave up 168 yards per game on the road. Like, come on. It's raining. It's literally raining. Like you don't have to. I think it's a little bit to Sam's point. I love Kyle. I love him so much. But if you construct a game plan around Debo Samuel and Debo Samuel leaves, it shouldn't be that hard to pivot.
Yeah.
This isn't Steph Curry leaving the game and now we've got to figure out somebody else to get.
Well, I mean, I've watched Steve Kerr run pin down plays for Omari Spellman as if he was Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant.
And you know what?
So,
get Corey Joseph. Corey Joseph more money, like more minutes. Like he needs to play more. I mean, how can you know if a guy is not good if you just keep playing them? Like I just don't know.
I don't even know. Not yet. Not yet.
I told you I had Warriors takes, so I saved it for the end. By the way, the 49ers are beating the Lions, and they're going to Las Vegas, by the way, and we'll figure out who gets there. That's their business.
We are going to see
the 49ers are going to beat the
We are going to see an A game.
No, this is a big
game.
Big game.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty.
Let's hear your Warriors takes, Ponte.
Warriors takes. Okay. Just watching them little by little, and this is from someone who is now joining, like, right now. Spacing, too many turnovers. I don't understand the rotations. I really just don't. I don't understand the rotations. I really don't. Like when you see CP3 end up as a starting player, I don't get it. Look, if someone smarter than me who understands basketball better than I do can explain it, great. But I'm looking at a guy who is too stuck and stubborn with guys that he feels can literally sit there and play them when they're playing poorly. Look, I don't know if the answer is on this team right now. It feels to me, on the outsider looking in as a brand new Warriors fan, there's moves that need to be made. But my goodness, man, it's not here when you sit Kuminga and you're like not playing him and Trace is playing good minutes. Like, you know what? All right. This is what Kyle does better than anybody. He structures his game plan to personnel. If I'm Steve Kerr and I know that Trace can actually be an effective member of this team against one lineup and maybe he won't be against another, you have to be better in terms of that. So I'm done with my Warriors takes. I hope I didn't come off as a casual, but I like little by little what I'm watching is just like, man, it feels like everyone's relying on Steph to do everything. And when Steph puts in 35 a night and they lose, what do you do now at this point? What do you do as the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, you hit it all on the head.
you lay everyone off. That's what goes on. I mean,
it's a tech layoff that's about to happen. For the Warriors.
Right. This round of funding didn't go the way we thought. You're all gone.
I'm sorry.
The entire front court is laid off. Right? I don't know.
Joseph, you are on waivers.
All right. One more thing. I look at Kuminga and I look at a guy that you are trying to trade for, right? Like you're looking to trade for the skill set that Kuminga has that's developed. And you're in this weird spot where the Warriors have to trade for a guy that they know can be Kuminga, but you might got Kuminga at home. Like it's weird, right? Like it's almost like you're looking at like players that you're like, oh, that's Kuminga's skill set. That's what we want. And I asked my mom for McDonald's, and she said McDonald's is at home. McDonald's might be at home, and that's a decision I don't want to make. That's a decision I do not want to make because there's someone smarter than me that will make those decisions. But that's kind of what you're looking for, like at this point. And I think that's the part that is so hard with this decision that you have to make because you're in this weird spot. The Warriors are in this weird spot. Do we stick with what we got and just ride it out, or do we blow it all up? And we've got to figure out a new direction. And I would leave that to the experts.
Yeah, the experts have been struggling here, and Chase Center for a while now. But
I agree with you there. It's like if you're gonna be mid, you might as well play your guys with the highest upside to see if they can be special, if they can be something. We'll see. Jason, appreciate you hopping on.
Nah,
what do you want to plug
Love
before we get you out of here?
Nah, man, love you guys. Thank you so much, man. Like I literally ran from the bar so I can come over here and do this, man. I love you guys so much, man. Thank you guys for always inviting me on. Sprint Red Option Podcast with Andrew Pasquini, Jason Aponte 2103 on Twitter, Jason Aponte on YouTube. But yo, Sam, Andy, I love you guys so much, man. And let's go Warriors, man. Let's get this shit done, man. Like we gotta figure this out. And I'm a part of this now. Like now I've got to try to like help you guys like figure this out. So I'm trying to watch more ball than anything, but you guys haven't played in a while.
Let's go. No. We're more important things right now. We're more important things. Go get your other show on. I don't see the latest one. So we'll get it on and we'll see you after Detroit. All right, sir.
Appreciate everyone. We'll be back.
Thank you.